Massive outrage over Allu Arjun's arrest. Allu Arjun sent to 14-day custody. Allu arrested for Pushpa 2 stampede. Chief Minister Revant led Telangana government under fire. BJP, BRS gun for Revant Reddy. Superstar Allu Arjun arrested. Top focus on 5 Live.
Allu Arjun, arguably the biggest southern superstar at this point of time, celebrating the huge success of his film Pushpa 2, has been sent to 14 days judicial custody in that stampede case. We're going to get you the very latest on that big developing story from Hyderabad. But first, let's get you the headlines at 5. Politics erupts over Allu Arjun's arrest. Chief Minister Revant Reddy tells India Today that the law will take its own course. BRS, BJP guns for the Telangana Chief Minister. He's going to be live at Agenda Aaj Tak right here on India Today. In less than an hour from now, you'll be hearing from him live on the Allu Arjun case. Big twist in the arrest case. However, India Today accesses theatre's letter to Telangana police 2 days before the tragedy. Sandhya Theatre sought security 2 days before the Pushpa 2 premiere, where a woman lost her life. The big Samvidhan debate is on in the Lok Sabha. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra makes her inaugural speech as an MP, challenges government to hold Adani debate, claims agencies have been misused against the opposition. Rajnath Singh accuses Congress of trying to destroy the constitution. The no-trust war in Parliament escalates. Jagdeep Dhankar lashes out at the opposition again. Kharge accuses the Rajya Sabha chair of disrespect.
Chairman, who is not respecting me, how can I respect you? You are...
Big India Today impact. Government takes note of India Today's Operation Infiltration. Assures action. India Today exposed shocking infiltration crisis along the India-Bangladesh border. And the latest that we're getting to you is that Allu Arjun, superstar actor and star of Pushpa 2, has been sent to 14 days judicial custody. That's the big breaking story right now. Allu Arjun's hearing is also currently underway in the Telangana High Court, where his legal team is seeking urgent relief. The Telangana government has said once arrested cannot give bail. Allu Arjun's lawyers are telling India Today that the Premier's permission was sought 2 days prior. Security had been sought 2 days prior, and therefore there was no surprise over the fact that Allu Arjun was going to be attending the premiere. The theatre owners, in fact, had called for security and warned that the stars of the film would be there, and therefore adequate police bandobast was a must. The High Court has just said that the Allu Arjun petition is maintainable despite the custody order. So we're waiting now to see if the Telangana High Court gives superstar actor Allu Arjun bail. The Nampally court has, remember, sent him to 14 days judicial custody, and if he doesn't get bail from the Telangana High Court, Allu Arjun will be behind bars. He will be going to jail because this is judicial custody, so it's not lockup. He will be in jail. So right now we're waiting on what the Telangana High Court says. Let me go across to India Today's Apurva Jayachandran for more on this. Apurva, the Telangana High Court saying that the Allu Arjun plea is maintainable despite the judicial custody order. Can you explain to us what that indicates and how long before we know whether the Telangana High Court is going to give him any relief?
that the argument has been revolving around is the fact that Allu Arjun's legal team has been talking about how they had informed prior to the Telangana police regarding the proper bandobast that needs to have been taken as Allu Arjun and other movie stars of the Pushpa 2 film cast had already intimated to the theatre owners regarding the screening that was to take place on December 4th. A letter had been sent out to the police commissionerate by the Sandhya Theatre there, wherein they had very specifically in that said letter stated that Allu Arjun, Rashmika Mandana and the other cast members of Pushpa 2 will be arriving there on the 4th for one show that is at 9:30 p.m. That is the first show that was a pre-release show that was being released in Telangana, following which they will also go on for 4 consecutive shows on the 5th, that is the next day as well. For all these 5 shows together, there had been prior permission that had been sought by Sandhya Theatre owners to the Telangana police. That's what his legal team is arguing. They're saying that the police there have the FIR registered states that there wasn't police permission taken for proper bandobast and due procedure that was followed, but there was already due procedure that was followed 2 days ahead of the show screening. The letter was sent to the police commissionerate with the seal of acknowledgement that had been received by the police as well. That's what they're arguing. That in fact, importantly, they're taking cases from the past, be it from the Shah Rukh Khan case there or the other cases as well, wherein they are citing as to how there had been interim bail, some kind of a relief that had been provided. That the lawyers there are in fact not only arguing, saying that there was prior permissions involved, but they're also saying that the manner in which Allu Arjun was escorted out of his residence, that was also comes into question, because you see there's a video that is going viral which is an altercation between the police and Allu Arjun, where he's seen holding a cup of coffee and he says, "Now I've finished my coffee, you can I will go ahead and cooperate with you, but the time how you had barged into my room, that was something that I cannot stand by." That's what Allu Arjun says, and that's the video that is going on viral.
Apurva, I'm going to come back to you. Yes, we're going to try and get some more clarity on the circumstances under which Allu Arjun was arrested. There are some reports in the local media over how he has taken strong exception to the way that the police were outside his bedroom, apparently. We cannot corroborate that independently, but we are seeing some of those reports emerging, like Apurva said, in local media. We've got some more breaking news coming in, and I'll go back to Apurva in just a moment. Support is growing for Allu Arjun. He's being seen as a soft target, as the easy target in what is ultimately a systemic failure. Actors Nani, Rahul Ramakrishna have called the arrest unfair. Pavan Kalyan, who is Allu Arjun's uncle, has rushed to his nephew's house in Hyderabad. Actor and uncle Chiranjeevi are already at Allu Arjun's home in Hyderabad. So support obviously is growing, but we're going to have to see how this actually plays out. Akshita is with me. She's been tracking this closely. Akshita, this is kind of mind-boggling in some ways because 14 days judicial custody seems like a bit of a stretch given everything that we're looking at so far. The warnings about a possible heavy crowd situation 2 days before the actual tragedy. The police now saying that they had asked Allu Arjun not to turn up. There appears to have been some kind of a scrap outside Allu Arjun's bedroom. I mean, this is a really, a very, very powerful family in Telangana. What sense are you making of this? What's going on? Is this really about like sending out some kind of a message?
There are lots of conspiracy theories doing the rounds, Shiv, right now, but this is essentially the first family of Tollywood that's now getting together to back Allu Arjun. You've got Chiranjeevi, the mega star. His nephew is Allu Arjun. He and Allu Arjun and Ramcharan are cousins. Pavan Kalyan, we're being told, has also expressed his support to Allu Arjun's family. Allu Arvind is known to be a very, very influential figure in Tollywood, who is Allu Arjun's father, who we also saw early this morning in those images when Allu Arjun was kind of consoling him, saying, I'll come back soon. So, you know, this is your biggest stars, the superstars of Tollywood, all now embroiled in this massive controversy courtesy Allu Arjun's arrest. There's a lot of back and forth, but let's just simplify it down for our viewers that there are two cases
hold
right
on for
now.
1 second.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to you in 10 seconds. Just want to tell our viewers, these are the latest pictures coming in from the Nampally court. You can see Allu Arjun in those pictures. He's been sent to 14 days judicial custody. Those are pictures of the huge crowd coming in from the Nampally court. Lawyer speaking, let's listen in for a moment.
कुछ नहीं बोला रिमांड खाली रिमांड दिया रिमांड कितना दिन है सर
14 days is what the lawyer says as he tries to escape the cameras, but Allu Arjun clearly visible. He's the one in the white hoodie right there in the middle of that crowd. It's a bit of a bizarre situation because you can see people trying to take selfies with him even as he's been remanded to judicial custody. Akshita, go ahead.
Image is just an indication, Shiv, of how massive Allu Arjun is. He's a phenomenon in Telugu film industry, in Tollywood, and that's been indicative in the crowds that you've seen, whether it's at the Nampally court right now or even at the hospital, the Gandhi hospital, where they had to virtually put up barricades to let him just go through. But the kind of messaging that Allu Arjun is sending across, you know, early this morning when he was taken in, he was having his last cup of coffee, and at that point very sternly told the police officials that, look, I understand you're doing your duty, but the way you're going about it is extremely wrong. And the reason he said that is because he says they were literally outside his bedroom, that he wasn't allowed to have breakfast. He says, I wanted to change my clothes. You initially didn't allow and then later allowed me to. And look at what he changed into, a t-shirt that says flower nahi, fire hai. And all through the images that you see, Shiv, of Allu Arjun, he's got this calm, composed look. He's interacting with anyone who comes up to him, shakes hands, as you see there, indulging some of them with selfies.
Yeah.
So he's trying to send across a message that this hasn't fazed me in any way. But, Shiv, it's a Friday. So if he doesn't get relief from the Telangana High Court, where the hearing is happening right now, he's staring at spending the weekend in jail because of that 14-day judicial custody. There are two cases here. The Nampally court, where he is, he's been produced by the police because he's been taken into custody. As we all know, due process is that he's produced in court and the cops seek custody. They've got 14 days as they wanted. They'll be thrilled with that because that was the maximum that they sought. They've been given it. As far as that letter of Sandhya Theatre asking for permission, saying Allu Arjun is coming, that's actually been brought up in the Telangana High Court, and the Telangana High Court has said that Allu Arjun's petition is very much something we are considering to quash the FIR. But look at those images right now, Shiv. The cops are unable to really control the crowds there.
How ironic, crowd management not happening outside the Nampally court either. Anyone and everyone getting access to Allu Arjun as he is remanded to 14 days judicial custody. As Akshita just said, Allu Arjun belongs to the first family of Telugu cinema. A very, very powerful and politically connected family, and therefore all sorts of conspiracy theories are doing the rounds. We live in a country, like it or not, where the powerful never really face the law, or they are used as soft targets, as is often the case with actors. And therefore, people are wondering what this particular action against Allu Arjun is really all about. Is it really, as Chief Minister Revanth Reddy says, about the law taking its own course? Or are there is there a subtext to what's happening? Is there a political subtext or otherwise that we are missing? There will always be the door open for that. Akshita, what's the buzz in the local media on this? Among the conspiracy theories, we've heard so many. Some people are saying it's a fixed match. 14 days judicial custody would somehow belie that, in my view. Some people are saying that, there may be some internal factions within the Congress. There are other very bizarre suggestions doing the rounds. What are you picking up from inside Telangana? What's the media there saying?
It's important to highlight here, Shiv, that amid all of the conspiracy, what we have to reiterate here is that Allu Arjun's father, Allu Arvind, is someone who's known to be a congressman. So is there any question of a political conspiracy? Not really. But having said that, the focus and spotlight will be on the Telangana police about why they've gone after Allu Arjun in this manner if there's clear evidence that permission was sought from them for this particular event. Now, the counter for...
What did the judge say?
Yeah, he had obeyed with that.
the PP argument. That's why he had remanded now.
14-day judicial custody?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bail కాదు, ఇది ఓన్లీ రిమాండ్ చేయొద్దు అని. కల్పబుల్ హోమిసైడ్ 118/1 అలాగే 105 ప్రకారం ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో దాంట్లో కల్పబుల్ హోమిసైడ్ 118/1 చెప్పారు కదా, దాంట్లో కంపల్సరీ నాన్ బెయిలబుల్ ఉన్నది.
Based on the sections of culpable homicide, there is no question of bail. It's a non-bailable offence.
మెన్షన్ చేయడం ఎందుకంటే గతంలో ఒక 5 సిటీలో మీరు ప్రమోషన్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి వీళ్ళకి నాలెడ్జ్ ఉంది. సో బౌన్సర్స్ కూడా ఉద్దేశపూర్వకంగా నెట్టారు. సో ఇప్పుడే కోర్టులో చూస్తున్నాం మీరు వచ్చిన వాతావరణం.
So we've also highlighted that this was for a movie promotion. So he very much knew there would be crowds.
ప్రస్తుతానికైతే మేము అల్లు అర్జున్ దగ్గర ఉన్నాం. అల్లు అర్జున్ అని పంపించారు.
Akshita, go ahead. You were telling us about what you're hearing from the ground.
Yes, Shiv. So essentially, look, the question of conspiracy here on that letter particularly with the Telangana government's response to the High Court has been that they responded to that letter denying permission essentially for that event. Let's cut across to a reaction from the courts.
Are there any virtual security guard and all?
For our knowledge, Allu Arjun is only appear, so he should only take into the
Sections that happened.
118/1, 105 and read with 3/5 of BNS. ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ పీపీ గారు డిమాండ్ ఎందుకు చేయొద్దు అనే దాని మీద ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ జరిగాయి. సో అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి అపోజిట్ కౌన్సిల్ కూడా గతంలో ఇన్సిడెంట్ జరిగాయనే దాని మీద వారు కొన్ని చూపెట్టడం జరిగింది. షారుఖ్ ఖాన్ గారిది ఇట్లా అయింది, అలాగే ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్ లో ఒక ఆశ్రమంలో ఇన్సిడెంట్ ఇట్లా అయింది అని చెప్పడం జరిగింది. ఇవన్నీ బెయిలబుల్ కి యాక్సెప్ట్ అవుతాయని పీపీ గారు వాదించడం జరిగింది.
The public prosecutor argued that you can raise issues of SRK's case and the stampede that happened recently in Uttar Pradesh, but in this case it's a non-bailable offence. The public prosecutor also argued that Allu Arjun knew that the crowds would gather, but despite that came together there. He has a right to be there as a citizen. He has a right to be among his fans, but he knew there would be chaos, and despite that, nothing was done. There were no precautions taken despite the Allu Arjun craze that everyone knows about, which is why we went ahead and pushed for custody.
వీరు సినిమా చూడడానికి వస్తామని పర్మిషన్ తీసుకున్నారని చెప్పారు. రోడ్ షోకి ఎలాంటి పర్మిషన్ లేదు, జులుస్తో వచ్చారని పీపీ గారు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. ఇవన్నీ
The public prosecutor also said that permission was not granted for this event.
హైకోర్టు మాకు తెలియదు, ఇంకా రాలేదు. హైకోర్టు ఎలాంటి
High Court judgment hasn't come yet, so we're waiting for that.
Okay, we do know now that Allu Arjun has sought interim bail from the Telangana High Court, and that's what we're waiting on right now. Allu Arjun has also said that we can report to you now. Allu Arjun's first comments post this arrest, he says, the arrest is just for sensationalism. The arrest is a travesty of my liberty. Will continue cooperation in the probe. Via his lawyers, Allu Arjun putting out his first words following his dramatic arrest earlier today. He says that the arrest is a travesty of my liberty. Will continue cooperation in the probe. The arrest is just for sensationalism. So this is clearly escalating. It's a very hard-worded, statement that's just come out. Akshita, he says travesty of my liberty. We've also heard some comments before this about how Allu Arjun was apparently not very happy about how the police sort of barged into his bedroom, etc. All of this making it seem pretty ill-tempered, Akshita.
Very true, Shiv. He said it very politely, but he said, "Meer na bedroom baita untaru," meaning essentially he's saying you're waiting outside my bedroom. That's what he was saying in his conversation with the cops. And he said, I agree, you're doing your duty, but the way you did it is wrong. And you look at what's happening right now in court also, Shiv. The argument is by Allu Arjun that I won't go away anywhere. There's no fear of me running away. But this arrest is just for sensationalism. Now the court has also pulled up the government, saying why, on what grounds should I not grant bail? Why are you stopping interim bail in this particular case? Highlighting the fact that Allu Arjun has said, I'm not a flight risk here. So to that, in fact, you've got the public prosecutor saying that no, we can't give interim bail, and that's because they've referred to section 105, culpable homicide again. It's coming back essentially to that constantly, that it's a non-bailable offence, which is why they can't give bail. But remember that even the quashing of FIR, despite the fact that a lower court has given its order shift, the quashing of FIR, the High Court has said, we are going to hear it. And there is particularly a case of Shah Rukh Khan's that's been referred to in the High Court. When Shah Rukh Khan was promoting Rais, there was a similar sort of stampede that broke out, and he was named as an accused, much like Allu Arjun. There, the court in Gujarat as well as the Supreme Court granted him relief. That's been cited by Allu Arjun to say, look, why would I be held back if previously, in a similar case, Shah Rukh Khan has been granted bail, and they've referred to a Supreme Court order to highlight that the High Court can very much quash this FIR. So it'll be very interesting to see if the High Court grants relief. If it doesn't shift, it means this weekend Allu Arjun will be behind bars.
Continue to stay with me. I want to get some voices in from Telangana as well. And Akshata, I want you to stay with me here because, I'm going to chat with you a little bit more because this has become an exploding political football in the state of Telangana. 14 days judicial remand for Allu Arjun. He says it's a travesty of his liberty being done only for sensationalism. Revanth Reddy is going to be live at the India Today Aaj Tak agenda event in just a few minutes from now. But before that, I want to get in our guests from the ground to get a sense of how this story is actually playing out in the political sphere. Krishank Mane is the leader of the opposition BRS in Telangana. Brijesh Kalappa is a political analyst. Sana Rais Khan is a Supreme Court lawyer and an author. And Sharuf Khan is an Allu Arjun fan. Sana, if I could quickly come to you first. Allu Arjun has just said that this is a travesty of his liberty. He says this is being done for sensationalism. Where do you stand on this? You're on mute, Sana.
Am I audible now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So I understand the public anger and grief, but legal accountability cannot be assigned based on emotions or popularity. Allu Arjun is being targeted because of his celebrity status, not because of any actionable negligence or misconduct on his part. This is a classic example of misdirected outrage. Instead of addressing the systematic failures in crowd control and event management, the blame is being unfairly shifted to a high-profile figure to deflect attention from the real culprits. So while the emotions may be running high, but we must ensure that legal principles and justice prevail. Because arresting him under section 105 of BNS is both legally and morally questionable. Because key issues here are that there is no evidence that he caused the stampede either directly or indirectly. He did not organize the event. He did not control the crowd. He did not incite chaos or negligence in any form. So this is a clear case of misplaced liability, which makes the arrest itself illegal. So because for a criminal charge to hold, there must be intent or knowledge. In this case, he was present just as a guest, not as an organizer or an instigator. His intention was to engage with fans and promote his work, not to create inconvenience. So there is no evidence of him violating any specific guidelines or behaving irresponsibly. So this absence of intent itself makes his arrest not just unjustified, but also legally unsustainable. And I would definitely stress on the fact that that there is that we must focus on the real culprits, because the organizers, the theatre management, and authorities responsible for.
I'm going to come to that, Sana, in just a moment. But I want to get a word from an Allu Arjun fan as well. Sharuf Khan is joining me on that. Mr. Khan, we have a letter from 2 days before the stampede tragedy from the Sandhya Theatre asking for police security, saying that there is going to be a crowd and heavy crowd, and the stars might actually come there. But the Telangana police says they had reached out to Allu Arjun and the cast and said, there's going to be heavy crowd, please don't come. And the Telangana police is basically saying that Allu Arjun has disobeyed a request from the Telangana police. What would you say to that before I go to the police?
Sir, it's a very shameful act that the Allu Arjun has been arrested. If you know that there is a crowd, you should have been, of course, the policeman and tell the police the crowd to manage the crowd and the manager and everything. But there was no any person who have been involved in it. It wasn't just a tragedy. Allu Arjun have been said sorry to all the people and their fans not to have this kind of such incidents in further. And after this thing,
Okay.
every hospital bill and the tragedy happened in the family, he can say that he can't say anything to the family. He can just give the money or give the condolence to the family or with the financial help. After knowing
Okay.
Telangana police knew everything. There is nearby police station. There is a nearby police station. There are 100 of policemen nearby. There is 100 of policemen. You have security.
So we've got. See, now we've got two things, and I want to bring Krishank and Brijesh also into this. And Brijesh is also a lawyer, so we'll get a perspective from him on that as well. Krishank, quickly to you first. The two things we have before us which are undisputed is one, the letter from the Sandhya Cinema saying that stars are going to come, there is going to be heavy crowd, etc. Please give us security. And also the Telangana police on the record saying they asked Allu Arjun not to come there. Perhaps saying that they can't provide that kind of security because of the kind of crowd. What are you saying? Who are you accusing here amidst this developing story, Krishank?
Shiv, give me some more time, please.
I will. Go
ahead. Because definitely there's clear, specific violation of constitutional remedies and legal rights. Number one, yes, true. 2nd December, this letter to Assistant Commissioner of Police, acknowledged by the Assistant Commissioner of Police, was given by them.
Yeah.
4th December, 2 days after that, the event happens, the incident happens. 5th,
yes,
the FIR was done. Number one, police failed in security lapse. It's absolute, because in court, when Honorable Judge asked that if you've denied, furnish the details, till this minute, the police department has not furnished any document in written that they have denied permission.
Right.
Okay, if you wanted to arrest Allu Arjun for this, if Allu Arjun has done violation, why have you taken 8 long days? 5th to 13th today, you've chosen a Friday, a weekend, because tomorrow is 2nd Saturday and then a Sunday. Why I'm saying this? This is very crucial. Honorable High Court in bulldozer demolitions by Hydra has clearly mentioned that why are you choosing these demolitions only on weekend? Social media activists arrested here on weekend, demolitions of houses on weekend. Today, Allu Arjun also on weekend. The rule of law has to be for all. It's not about a celebrity. It's not about a national award-winning actor. Why has he been denied a constitutional remedy? This is absolutely a well-executed plan. Now, my crucial allegation is, in the success meet of Pushpa, Allu Arjun, while acknowledging everyone for the success, including several governments, forgot the name of Chief Minister Revant Reddy.
Yeah, that video has gone viral.
Viral video. He forgot the name of Chief Minister of Telangana, which is why we feel that the egoist Chief Minister Revant Reddy.
So you're saying this is vendetta, Krishank? That's a very grave charge. You're saying this is vendetta.
Yes, because you know why, Shiv? Just now we heard from the media statements from Delhi in chit chat. Revant Reddy says that he does not have information. Is it a circus? Because a national award-winning actor, you know that a stampede took place. You know that there was a death, which is unfortunate. You know that FIR is there and Allu Arjun is named in that. And you know today...
Okay, points made. Krishank, I've got some breaking news. I'll come back to you. I've got some breaking news now. More voices are coming in. This is escalating. Before I go to Brijesh, ex-Andhra Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy says, is it fair to hold Allu Arjun responsible? He says, criminal case against Allu Arjun is not acceptable. So Jagan Mohan Reddy has also jumped in. He's condemned the arrest of Allu Arjun and his remand to 14 days judicial custody. Brijesh Kalapa, your take on what's going on right now. There are many different versions of what's happening. You've just heard the BRS allege that there is vendetta politics going on. There are others who say it's a fixed match. What do you think is going on here, Brijesh?
Shiv, I've seen, the visuals, and it's extremely shocking that, the other person said, that this arrest is taking place over a week after the actual incident, and that too it's planned on a Friday. So therefore, there is something which is totally, out of the ordinary and out of the normal. So this is something which I think anybody should take note of. The first thing is that as far as this entire crisis is concerned, I think we are all very clear that one person cannot be held responsible, however big that person is and however, popular that person is, he cannot be responsible or held responsible for all the ills that that go along with this kind of a screening of a film. So if the government thinks that they can take Allu Arjun to task, I think they're doing an absolute disservice to themselves. This is the first part. Second part is that planning his arrest on a weekend, I think, is obvious to all. Why do you want to arrest a top star like Allu Arjun, that you on a weekend, over a weekend, that on Friday, so that you can keep him on Saturday and Sunday? I think the High Court has to certainly intervene in this matter. The High Court should pull up the officers who are responsible for this. And obviously, even if there is some kind of role of Allu Arjun's, the security guards and so on and so forth, then certainly those people could have been held up or pulled up. It can't be that you pick up Allu Arjun and say that, look, we are going to make an example of this. This is something which is going to certainly affect the government, and this is something which they should have completely avoided. And this is certainly not going to help them in the long run.
Not going to help them in the long run. Sana, I want to bring you back in on this while we're waiting for the Telangana High Court, which has said that the plea by Allu Arjun is maintainable despite the custody order from the Nampally court. Can you explain this for us? We don't want to second guess what's going to happen in court, but basically the Telangana High Court has basically said, what is Allu Arjun's specific role in this, which is similar to what you were just saying in your first answer, Sana.
Yes, the remedy of filing a writ petition for quashing the FIR is always parallel and available while you have applied a separate application for bail. So both are absolutely parallelly maintainable, independently also. So yes, and when, in view of Bhajan Lal judgment, which is like one of the landmark judgments, it is specifically mentioned in that judgment that when, prima facie no case is made out, such allegations, such baseless allegations are mentioned in the FIR, then you peruse it and you can easily, any person any prudent person in his right mind would know that this is a baseless allegation. Such FIRs should be quashed instantly. And this is a classic case. This is definitely a case where the High Court must quash the FIR. And, right now what he's praying for is in an interim bail and also stay on proceedings, which is absolutely right. Proceedings should be stayed, and that would automatically amount to his release also. His definite release is also extremely crucial in view of the fact that, the stampede is an unfortunate incident, but caused by crowd mismanagement and not by deliberate or reckless action on his part. And, in terms of judicial precedent also, there is a judgment called Shri Dharan Pillai versus State of Kerala, where it has been held that public figures cannot be held liable for unforeseen accidents unless direct negligence or incitement is proven. And in this case, it's prima facie evident that there was no direct negligence, no incitement on his part. And let's ask the right questions, like the theatre management, which is duty bound to enforce safety protocols, manage crowd control, prevent overcrowding. Why was this not taken care of right in the beginning? Were proper crowd control measures such as barricades and points in place? Were there a contingency plan to manage?
So we've got all these, we've got all the facts, the technical, technical parts very clear for all of our viewers, and I thank you for that, Sana. But continue to stay with me. Krishank, I want to bring you back in because the public watching this story play out after it broke on India Today is wondering, what is beneath the layers? We can see this arrest taking place. Everyone knows very well that Allu Arjun belongs to, a very powerful, well-connected, the first family of Telugu cinema, as it were. Allu Arjun's father is, known to be, close to the Congress party. So people are wondering, in a country where we've all become cynical, where the powerful never really get arrested, or if they do, it's because they're a soft target in order for some kind of legal posturing. What's going on here? Is there some political game here that we are missing?
Well, definitely there are series of questions in this shift. One, the way they've barged into his residence, into the bedroom, till the bedroom, and they've arrested, this whole order is really a question. And while we are talking about this, as a Telangana citizen, we are concerned because, after Telangana state was formed, it was important to have the entertainment industry here in Hyderabad, which is a very big industry. Now the question is, Daljit Dosanjh, a singer, wants to perform here, you release a gag order. That is a big issue. After that, cabinet
And
minister
Allu Arjun
of the
has just
Congress,
reached
Konda
Hyderabad
Sureka-
Central Jail. Yes, go ahead, Krishank. We've got live images from that's breaking right now. He's reached the Central Jail to begin his 14-day judicial remand, awaiting his plea order for bail from the Telangana High Court. Krishank, continue.
Shiv, Daljit Dosanjh gag order, number one. Number two, Congress Minister Konda Sureka's comments against Nagarjuna and actress Samantha has really not gone well, and the AICC was silent. And now this issue against Allu Arjun. Where is the Mohabbat ki dukan? I mean, this was what the dialogue of Rahul
No, but the
Gandhi is.
Telangana government will say law is
entertainment
taking
industry
its
will
own
be
course.
affected.
Krishank, the Telangana government will say, why, we do not stand to protect anybody. Their response will be that let the law take its own course.
Then what about the security lapse? Who is responsible for this?
But the Telangana
Home
police is
Minister
saying we
is none
requested
other
him not to come.
than-
That's what I'm saying.
So number one, if that is the case, please show us that you have denied the permission. Here there is the acknowledgement.
Fair enough.
Where is that? Is there a written document? Because it looks like a self-defense, and that too after 8 days on a weekend where Mr. Allu Arjun cannot approach the court for a bail. So all these are definitely suspicious, and Chief Minister says he does not have information. Does it mean that the Commissioner of Police has taken such a big decision on his own that he should arrest this actor? So there are many issues because it concerns the law and order again, Shiv. His fans are at the prison, at hospital, at court, everywhere. So when it is such a serious security measure, the government has to take the onus of responsibility.
Do you think, Brijesh, I want to bring you in on this because this is a sensitive issue. And do you, like Krishank, sense any kind of law enforcement malice in what is happening? Could the Telangana police be taking this kind of high-profile action against a superstar like Allu Arjun in order to kind of shift the blame and take the spotlight away from itself because maybe it has its own sense of not having its, done its job? I know that's I've said many things, but do you think that there could be some of that at play here, Brijesh?
No, certainly I think somebody in the police brass has to answer for what is happening. And the first thing is that everybody knew that Pushpa 1 was a super duper success. And the second part was touted to be one of the biggest hits. And everybody had been speaking about it, although I have not seen the movie. But people had been speaking of it for long. Therefore, the fact that, this kind of, interest in the movie was there was evident to all. And now, if an incident like this has happened, somebody has died, then the police brass will certainly like to have somebody take the flak for it and not their own. So I think this is essentially that. Because if somebody has fouled up, then you always look for somebody else to take the blame and to shift the blame onto somebody else. So this, I think, is the end all and be all. Honestly, I don't see this as a political kind of issue. Because like the BRS spokesperson was speaking, that trying to name Rahul Gandhi or anybody else. I don't think this is any one such issue. I think it's purely a fight and a scuffle between the police and the Tollywood or what you call it. And this is because I think they're trying to set rules for the game. The police, I think, are trying to set rules for the game. But this is no way of doing it. This is certainly not the way of doing it. And if at all, I think the police should have actually called a meeting of top cinema people, had a frank heart-to-heart with them, and told them that look, these are our problems, and please help us overcome these problems. I think
Krishank, you want to respond to that? Brijesh says, probably a tussle between the police and Tollywood rather than anything political. What would you say to that?
Yeah, definitely there has to be some situation of discussions. I mean, while I'm saying this, there is also the Manchu family fiasco which is going on. There are bouncers on either sides. So, in fact, reporters are being attacked. So the government has to take an initiative. You cannot leave the law and order for loose. That is what is, the whole debate on what happened on the 4th December. Who takes the responsibility? Now, you see, the blame, the whole responsibility is on the actor. But the question is, Is he really responsible? Across India, we've seen many stampedes. In Pushkars, in Andhra Pradesh, in 2015, 27 people died when then Honorable Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu ji visited. So was there a case against him? Was he demanded to be arrested? So how is Allu Arjun? I mean, now we are seeing Congress reactions also. One Congress legislature council member of Telangana has said that Allu Arjun is the reason for the death. And in fact, Allu Arjun actually spoke out also. He condemned that. He announced for monetary support. He really, felt sad for such a situation. I mean, that was the reaction of the actor. The way you have arrested today, you could have called him to the police station. You could have done an inquiry or an investigation. I mean, just because BNS is there, you want to use it. You want to remove the 41 CRPC. You want to use 35 by not even issuing a
which is why Brijesh's point seems to make sense. Which is why Brijesh's point seems to make sense, that it was a message was being sent out. It seems like they were standing outside his bedroom rather than summon him to the police station and do it quietly. It seemed like a message was being sent out.
But the impact will fall on the state, on brand Hyderabad. That is our concern. That's why I mentioned about Daljit's concert or Nagarjuna and Samantha's issue with Kunda Sureka, and now this issue. Who will be affected at the end?
Okay, we've got breaking news. Krishank, hold on for just a second. Interim bail for Allu Arjun. That's the breaking news. Relief for Allu Arjun. He just reached the central jail, the Chanchalguda jail. Those are pictures from the Chanchalguda jail where he's just reached. And good news for the superstar actor. Interim bail has been granted to Allu Arjun. So after about 4 hours of this drama, ever since his arrest earlier today, Allu Arjun has just managed to obtain interim bail from the Telangana High Court. And Sana, can you decode this for us? The High Court, Sana, let me get Sana because she's a lawyer, so she'll be able to tell us just a little bit more. Interim bail for Allu Arjun from the High Court, and says he has his right to life and liberty. Sana, so he won't have to go to jail, he gets to go home, right, Sana?
Yes, absolutely. Now he will be going to home, and his quashing petition will be still pending. I'm sure now the next date of hearing, the hearing would be on the quashing petition, and I'm definitely confident that that the entire case will get quashed, because this reasoned and sound judgment today of granting instant bail also is a reflection of the fact that the High Court has also considered the illegality in the arrest and taking view of the fact that the way that this has occurred, like how the other panelists have also stated, everything is a clear sending out a clear message that now this is a clear case of misuse of legal machinery and sensationalizing an issue. We must focus on the real culprits, like the organizers, the theatre management, the authorities responsible for public safety, rather than unfairly scapegoating a respected artist. Let us demand justice based on facts and law, not on misplaced emotions or sensationalism.
Okay, stay with me, Sana, and to all my guests. Akshita is also live with us. Akshita, I mean, the timing, Allu Arjun had just reached the Chanchalguda jail, was about to, probably be admitted for his 14-day judicial remand stretch, but he's managed to get that interim bail from the Telangana High Court.
Huge relief for Allu Arjun, because if he hadn't gotten this from the High Court, Shiv, it would have meant spending the weekend in the Chanchalguda Central Prison. So he would have been behind bars effectively for the weekend, because then the next petition, the next hearing would have been only next week. And it would have been a very, very hard weekend for Allu Arjun. Instead, what you're going to see is now, just as he set foot inside the Chanchalguda prison, he's going to be headed back home. The judge made some very, very important points in this case, Shiv. First, questioned whether the kind of charges that are leveled against Allu Arjun of culpable homicide really does stand in this kind of a case. Secondly, whether in fact Allu Arjun truly is guilty of the crime of, having created the stampede or having a conspiracy or being involved in it. The judges questioned whether these charges actually hold. Besides that, has also said we need to ignore the fact that Allu Arjun is a star, treat him like an ordinary citizen. So in all of this, looking at all of this, is why interim bail has been granted, and it's come right after a lower court granted granted 14-day custody to the Telangana police. Now the onus will be on the corpse shift to see how they take forward the investigation. They're not going to get a chance at any point to question Allu Arjun right now. He is going to ensure that this bail gets extended. But remember that the FIR right now hasn't been quashed. And we'll have to see if Allu Arjun now tries to push forward with that particular legal reprieve too.
Absolutely. The FIR hasn't been quashed, so the police action against Allu Arjun will continue at this point of time. And, one wonders whether that is going to be as dramatic as what has happened now. But Brijesh, if I could bring you in, now that Allu Arjun has gotten bail, what would the Telangana police's next step be? Because the FIR, like Akshita just pointed out, that hasn't been quashed. Only the judicial remand is gone now. He gets to go home. What next for the Telangana police in terms of its options?
Shiv, after having seen the police for long, having been in government myself, having been a Supreme Court lawyer, I think this is what the police wanted. The police wanted to send shockwaves through the Tollywood fraternity, and that they have done, and they've achieved what they wanted to do. And I think everybody will be the wiser thanks to this. And the real people we have to thank is essentially the High Court of Telangana. I think since justice has prevailed and since Allu Arjun has been given interim bail, I think this issue has actually boiled over. And therefore, I think this is the end of it. But in the long run, I think in a way it's good for everybody, because everybody has to be a little careful while handling crowds. And, despite the fact that we are very populous as a nation, we should still have some kind of regard for our fellow citizens, and people shouldn't die in this manner. But still, this was a harsh kind of messaging for the stars. But I think this was the messaging that the Andhra police, the Telangana police wanted to send out. This is my gut feeling. Nobody has told me this. But after having seen police, this is the feeling I get.
Krishank, what do you think? Interim bail just at the time when Allu Arjun was stepping into the Chanchalguda jail, he's gotten that bail from the Telangana High Court. Krishank?
No merit in the strength of the case. This has become a habit for Telangana police. I'm saying this because I've experienced too. I've got such orders for posting on social media. They've put us into jail. We've got bails. We've got anticipatory bails. As I told you earlier, Hydra demolitions, on the weekend, social media activists. In fact, if you remember, KTR's family function was also on a weekend. That was also when the police barged into his residence, into his relative's residence, when a family function was going on. That was also weekend. Today, again, it's a weekend. And the court, thankfully, yes, Honorable High Court has been prevailing. Justice has prevailed. But this is again becoming a mockery. I mean, police reacting in such a way, constitutional remedies, constitutional provisions, legal measures have to be importantly significant. So instead of that, just because, governments want to react like this and you want to put just shy away from responsibility, because again, who is responsible on all this security lapse is a question. So the police department wants to immediately blame Allu Arjun for this and for this entire ruckus. Thankfully, yes, it has been debated since the noon across India, and now he is out. The investigation will go on. Okay. But the point is, from this, there has to be learnings for Revanth Reddy Garu's government. They have to learn out of this. You cannot, be maverick in your decisions. You have to sit down with your officers. Your officers have to take, when they're taking such kind of decisions, there has to be some kind of deliberations. Without that, you just can't, brush off and violate people's liberties and rights.
I just want to remind all of our viewers that Revanth Reddy, Chief Minister of Telangana, is going to be live at the Agenda Aaj Tak event in just a few minutes from now. So stay tuned to India Today. Don't go anywhere. I'd like to thank Krishank, Sana and Brajesh and Shruv for joining me on this very interesting discussion. Obviously, much more interesting because all of that breaking news happened while we were having that discussion. The remand, his arrival at the central jail, and then getting interim bail. So good news for Allu Arjun and for all of his fans. He gets to go home. He won't be spending the weekend in jail. But this is still a big story. He hasn't left from the jail just yet. So we'll be tracking that closely.